Welcome to PLZ Soccer's One-to-One. I'm delighted to say our special guest is Fleetwood manager Scott Brown. Scott, what a change as life goes on from player now to the manager. How are you enjoying it, first of all?
It's been good. It's been a quick season, shall we say, but no, there's been improvements from obviously last season, which is the main thing. But no, coming down here has obviously got away from Scotland, which as a player I've played my whole career, and it was just something completely and utterly different, and it was a fresh start.
What about the transition? Because as a player, you're in charge of your own destiny. How have you found, you've played at the absolute top level. What was the difficult part of transitioning into a manager and looking at players that maybe hadn't played at that level?
I think for me it was more not being part of a team, not being in a dressing room, but we've got a really good dressing room, bunch of lads, coaching staff, we're all really tight together, and as is the head of recruitment as well. And you've been in, you've seen them, they're all friendly, we're like a little bit of banter, but at the same time, we're deadly serious about our job as well. So we've got that good balance between us, and myself and Whits have never worked together before, but obviously been best mates all the way through football. And this was always our idea, this was our dream. Whoever got manager or whoever was a coach, we would bounce back off each other, and yeah, we stayed with each other, so we're literally husband and husband.
How important is it? I mean, obviously, Whits has played at the top level as well. To get Stephen Whitaker and his knowledge, and then, of course, over and above that, that Scottish connection continues. You've got Barry Nicholson too.
Yeah, definitely. We've got the Rangers Celtic rivalry, that's for sure. And no, it's good because Baz has been here for a long time and he's got a great understanding of the club and also League One. And for myself and Stephen to come into League One, not really knowing too much, and I know what's played in the Championship and the Prem, but none of us really knew anything about League One, so it was a fresh start to go and understand the teams, stadiums, what the players are, and get to know what Fleetwood's all about as well.
Sometimes, people move to England and it's out of sight, out of mind. But Fleetwoods have been at the forefront. I mean, not only is it a good start to your first year as a league manager, but that cup run must have given you a huge lift and a boost as well.
Yeah, definitely. It was good for the lads as well, and it was more on their behalf than anything else because they've worked so hard over the season and these big games when you play Chef Weds and Burnley especially, and to get through the round against Chef Wed, and you're thinking, give us a real big one, and we get probably the most informed team in the Championship at the time, and Burnley were flying, and for us, we knew we had to defend long periods of time. We didn't have a recognised striker, so we played two midfielders up front, but we gave them a good challenge, shall we say. We lasted to the 90th minute and we lost a late goal, and looking ahead it probably helped us because if we go into extra time and we'll lose 1-0 because we did play 45 minutes with 10 men. So not fair play. The lads, they work extremely hard, they're well organised now, and they know what we want to expect from them as well. And going away, coming back to pre-season, they know it's going to be hard. You have to make sure you're fit, you have to make sure you're reliable in this league, especially because there's 46 games in a season for us, so it's a lot of strain on their bodies.
I've spoken to many a manager, even the most experienced ones, and they say, you know, despite the way you might have played as a player, the ethos is you'll play football depending on the players that you have. Scott Brown played with a lot of top international players, and at Celtic you would have had a lot of possession football. Is it difficult to try and do that style here, or is it a case of you had a mindset of how you wanted to play first and foremost to win games?
Take nothing away, I'd love to play like Pep every week, but for us, the league, the pitches as well, and you come into pitches in November and that, and some of them are not up for you playing nice, attractive football. We try and get the ball down as much as we possibly can, and the lads want to play. They've got a good understanding of shape with the ball and shape without the ball as well. For us, they want to keep the ball, and we know there'll be long periods of time going away to Ipswich and Chef Weds, and you have to defend together as a core, and they've done that really well. And it's not just about us turning up and going, we want to be a possession-based team. We need to show them and what they expect from us and what we expect from them as well. And it's literally shape, structures. We've done a lot of that because we lost 82 goals, I think it was last year. So myself and Stephen, before we even came in the building, that was our main focus, not to lose goals so easy, not to be more hard to beat. And also in January it's obviously helped, we've brought in 3 attacking players, so we've been a little bit more open going forward. So we have created a lot more chances, scored more goals, but we need to get back to that defensive unit again.
Give me your thoughts on why it was, what really swayed you towards Fleetwood, because you as a young manager will know managers are getting sacked right, left and centre. Some get 7 games, some get 19. Some have boards that don't have the patience and invest in someone to give them that chance. How crucial was it with the chairman and the board here that swayed you towards this game?
Yeah, the difference is it's not really a board. It's the chairman's club. It's the chairman's vision, and he's built this from his business and he bought the club for £5,000 15 years ago or something like that, and he's came through 7. I actually don't know how many leagues, to be perfectly honest, but he's enjoyed it, and this is his passion. This is what he loves. And he's a huge football fan, and he just wants the best for this football club. And at the time when I came, I spoke to him. He speaks so passionately about the fans, about the community, about the training ground, and about the stadium as well. So to start with, it was an easy sell, because I was keen. I want somebody that was on the same wave level. He doesn't interfere with day-to-day training. He's got 15 other businesses, so he knows what he wants. He knows where he wants to be in the league, and he's got that drive. And as I say, that drive comes in January again, and he goes and gets us 2 strikers and then a winger as well. So he's got that trust in us as well as what we've got in him.
I know what you were like as a player, ambitious, driving, want to get to the top. What's your ambitions here as a manager?
Yeah, for me, it was more about the first season. We wanted to make sure we were stable, that we were in a good place coming to the end of the season. We've got 1 game to go. We can either finish 11th or 13th, and so it's not a bad first season. And then next season, let's push on again and let's come back. It's get that investment in the squad. There'll be a few bodies coming in, and there'll be a few people leaving, part and parcel with football. But it's to try and make us have more quality coming on from the bench, and having that understanding of that 2 people in each position is key for us going forward.
Yeah, I can't, before I go on and talk about other things, I can't not mention the elephant in the room, which is just basically all the boys that you used to play with will be wondering what the hell is going on with this new, soft, modelled hairstyle. I mean, honestly, all we got was the aggressive look. What's happened?
Change man. I can be a nice guy, I swear, now and then. But no, it was during COVID I started growing my hair. And the kids never seen me with hair the whole entire time. So they were like, "Dad, can you grow your hair?" So during COVID, no hairdressers anyway, and don't get me wrong, I'd done it in the house anyway, so it didn't really matter. But I was like, yeah, I'll grow up. So it was like 6 months stuck in the house, started to get hair, and I was like, oh, all right, it still grows, there's no greys in it. And then retired, and they were like, "Dad, you need to bring the hair back." So now it's slowly starting to go grey.
Yeah.
I think it's the stress of working with Wits and Baz.
Yeah. 2 or 3 years at Fleetwood and it'll start to go grey, by the way. You know what it's like.
It's nice and warm down here.
Well, I was going to say, it's better weather than you were used to up in Scotland. Undoubtedly, as a manager, you want to be successful here. That's the first thing. But as you wanted to climb the ladder as a player, from your Hibs days and going on to Celtic, as a manager, everybody looks and says, "Oh, well, Scott Brown, the natural thing here is Fleetwood, somewhere else, Celtic." Do you see in the back of your mind?
I can see how that works for a lot of people.
Well, listen, 2 and 2 makes 5 in Scotland. One day everybody thinks he's coming back.
You never know in football, honestly. You never know, and you need to do a good job at the club that you're at. I need to make sure I'm on the ball daily, and also the lads have to enjoy training. And for us, so far, it looks like they enjoy training, as you've seen today. And for us going forward, we need good results. And for anyone to climb the ladder, you have to have positive results. You have to have a lot of good people around you, and that there's also good press about you too. So for myself, we've had good press, we've had bad press, but we need to make sure that these results next season, especially against the teams that probably same budget as what we struggled with. So low blocks and teams like that we did struggle with, but the more open teams we had a little bit of pace, a little bit of quality as well. And going away to the so-called big boys in our league, we've done really, really well so far. And don't get me wrong, the weekend, Bolton, the red cards, a game changer, but we were right in the game, and we were probably unlucky at half-time to come in 1-0 down.
Yeah, and everybody looks at the way you were as a player. A lot of you guys that I speak to in here, that it's changed. You still want to win. Have you Have you changed as a manager? Have you changed that, or is there still
No, I
that
think
streak of?
I've always been the same person. It's just most people only see me for 90 minutes.
Yes.
People don't see me day to day and what I'm like in a dressing room. When I go training, I was the exact same. I wanted to win training sessions. I wanted to work hard. I wanted to be the best that I could possibly give my ability. And yeah, my ability was probably not as good as some of the others, but I worked a lot harder than what others did. So my fitness levels and more being robust more than anything, and learning to know your body over the years, and that's what made me the player that I was. But now,
The mindset as a winner as a player, but how's the mindset now when you're trackside and you can't influence it? You've only passed on your knowledge.
yeah, but that becomes tactics and training and understanding how other teams play. So for us, we can give the lads as much information as we possibly can, and that's our job done.
Yeah.
They've got to go and make sure they express themselves as well. But you've also got to enjoy football. And I know I played serious and stuff like that, but I enjoyed going in a park. I enjoyed the competition. I enjoyed getting a touch of the ball, and I just made it a challenge to myself that I got more touches on the ball than anybody else in the park. Whether I won the tackle or my first pass was positive. I just had a lot of challenges, and I still set myself challenges daily. And Stephen's the exact same. And how we want to play possession based, yes, of course, we want more shots on target than anybody else, and we want to score more goals. And the way you win games, you score more goals. But sometimes going away from home, teams take control of the game, and there is very good teams in this league, so you have to have different ways. You can't be so predictable week in, week out.
And down through the years, many a player that's played at the top level has worked under some really good managers. Is Scott Brown the type of person who lifts the phone to the previous managers to say, how do you deal with this?
And then. Yeah, definitely. And I spoke to Brendan, I spoke to Lenny, and I spoke to Gordon, and it was all more about me coming into the job, because this was an area that I've never been in. And don't get me wrong, speaking in front of boys and speaking in front of other people and doing it is not a problem. But it's about getting that day-to-day understanding, and that's why I went up to Aberdeen at the time. I went to go and learn. I went to go and have that understanding from Stephen and the backroom staff as well. And I probably didn't take as much training sessions in that as I would have liked to, because I was still playing. But I learned a lot from them, like size of the pitches and small details depending on how many's involved in training. So you get that, but then you also use your own understanding of what you want out the session too. So I'm not going to say, I love that session, I'm going to copy that, it's perfect. I'm going to say, I really enjoyed that session, but can we maybe do this, or was that too much for this group of lads, or was that not enough? So you just add little bits and you steal everybody's sessions. And over the years, I stole Gordon's sessions, Brendan's, Lenny's, Tony's, Stephen Glass's sessions, and I've merged them into probably my own. Like myself and Stephen sat down and we done pre-season, and it was a lot of runs and a lot of ball work and possession base that we've done as players, but you enjoyed, but you also think, right, how can we improve that, or how can we maybe up the minutes, or so it's just that getting that understanding of times, sizes, and also just being a nice person to the lads as well. And I'm not a big nasty person. I like to talk things through. I never hold a grudge, and there's always going to be tempers flared, there'll be words says, but after the game it's done and dusted and we move on. And yeah, we all want to win, but we'll have to understand now and then you're going to get beaten. It's not the end of the world. We need to make sure we bounce back.
Yeah, you mentioned there Aberdeen. One of your old teammates has got the job there. What do you make of it?
Fantastic. He's done a great job. I spoke to him yesterday, and I couldn't be any more prouder. And he's came in. He's dead honest for a big Highlander, and he loves the club. He knows what the club's about, and he's had 7 fantastic results in a row. Yes, it's going to be a hard game for him on Saturday, but I'm sure he'll relish that.
Yeah, he's got a good chief executive up there in Alan Burrows. And of course, from his own point of view, to get those wins, what other qualities do you think he's got that will really, the Aberdeen fans will see and love?
He's just got enthusiasm as well. He's got passion for the club, as what every manager should have. And he buys into the whole understanding of the club's ethos as well. And he's came through, he's ticked all the boxes, and now he's had to wait for his opportunity. Yeah, he had it before for a couple of games, but he's had to wait for his opportunity to get a proper shot, and he's bided his time really well. And once he has got it, he's got that understanding of what he wants the lads to do, and he wants them to work hard, press high at the park, and win games, and they've been doing that really well.
Yeah, you're a year ahead of him. Did you offer him any advice? Win, and win.
Just win games, Robo, you'll be fine. No, but like he's a great lad, and we've always kept in contact throughout. And when I went up to Aberdeen, he was a good help for myself as well.
Yeah, brilliant. You obviously keep your eye on the Scottish game. What did you make first of all of Celtic Rangers in the cup there in the semi-final?
No, I watched the game and I get the bragging rights yet again in that room. So Baz has had a long, bad 10 years, shall I say. But I keep reminding him every now and then, one of these days I'm going to send him all my trophies. And his lad's a great lad as well, and he loves... I'll tell you a wee story. So Noah, Baz's lad, right, big Rangers fan. So we were sitting having dinner and we're blaring away, and I was like, Noah, everybody in Scotland that's played for Celtic, who do you hate the most about? You! he couldn't wait to get out. Oh,
Isn't it amazing that everybody in here has got a connection? I mean, even one of your commercial boys, Will, turned around and he said, I hate him. and when we met him in the Zoom for the job, we thought, we're not giving it to Scott Brown, surely. He said to the chairman, then he said, and my dad hated him too.
I was a big Rangers fan as well. His dad's from Glasgow, so Will moved down here a long time ago. But no, there's a huge Rangers Celtic connection down here, as everyone knows, and there's a lot of Scottish people down here too. They come on holidays and they end up staying here. And I've met so many players, like ex-players especially, that have been in Scotland, that's came down to England, that's staying in the same area as me. You've got Colin Henry, Brian O'Neill, you've got Gav McCann, you've got Charlie Adams. There's a lot of players that have came from Scotland and stayed in this area.
Yeah. Celtic seem to have the Indian sign over Rangers at the moment. Even if they're not playing well, they're winning the games. What did you make of that game? Yeah,
the front three are exceptional, and they always want to score goals, and you can never switch off against that front three, and that's what Rangers' problem's been over the years, and it's defending. And for me, that front three excites you, and then you've got the players to come on for the bench as well, and it's strength and depth and numbers now. So yeah, Ange's done a fantastic job, and to be fair, there's probably not been a better player in Scotland over the last 2 or 3 years than Callum McGregor as well. So he's been there, he's done that, he has the understanding, and hopefully once he goes to lift the trophies, and he'll enjoy himself. But no, he's worked extremely hard.
Yeah, he's now trying to copy the Bruni stare. I mean, I've watched him in the tunnel and I'm thinking, really?
If he shaves his head, then it's a done deal.
By the way, Callum's not the boy to shave his head. Let's be honest about it, Bruni.
But no, we're two completely different characters. We're two completely different players as well. I was more trying to get into people's heads, obviously, and Cal's a fantastic football player as well, and he keeps that team ticking over. He's got that willingness to win games, and it's that relentlessness as well, and he's in there week in, week out.
I've spoken to a number of managers who mentioned, though, that there's great similarities between the two of you, because although some people may have that perception of Scott Brown, feisty, wants to get inside people's heads, you're doing yourself a great disservice. You've got to be a good footballer to play for Scotland for so long and play Celtic and win all those trophies. And, I've spoken to a couple of managers who said that's the great thing about the two of them. Apart from the style of leadership you had, they see great similarities with the way that he's kept it ticking, kept it simple, kept driving the team on. He does it in a different way, but the football's still the key area where the managers rely on you.
Yeah, definitely. I think being captain in a football club as well, you need to have the manager's back, and no matter who came in, I always had his back and had his best interests as well. If he asked me to run 20k, I tried my best to run 20k. If he asked me to go and get 150 touches of the ball, but this is how I want you to play, I would do as he asked, because it's his team, it's his vision, it's what he wants as well. And there is no right way and no wrong way to go and play football. It's whatever manager comes in, but you need success at Celtic, and that's what Ange is given, that's what Brendan's given, that's what Lenny's given. You get all these managers that have success after the other because they are ruthless at the same time, but it's that willingness to win and that desire.
Yeah, and Ange, you would have loved to have played on his side. This high press, that intensity.
Yeah, that would have been right up my street, to be fair. And yeah, I'm not too sure it'd be up my street now, the high press and leaving me 1-for-1 in the middle of the park. But no, it's made it entertaining for the fans as well. And I think, as I say, the front three are exciting. And then you've got the other three to come on as well. So it's good to have that strength and depth, and there's that competition for places, which is key.
Would you love to have played in that midfield under him?
Yeah, definitely. I think playing with Cal already, I know what a fantastic footballer he is, and you see Moy, you see Riley as well, and Hatate as well. But Hatate's energy and understanding of the game's exceptional. He just keeps going, and it's that relentlessness, and they can go for 95 minutes, and they won't stop pressing you, and they want to be on the front foot, and they want to be a dominant team, and that's what you have you have to do.
It would be no surprise if, you know, you look at Hatate, you look at McGregor, you look at Kyogo, all in the running for Player of the Year.
Yeah, I think they have to be. And the dominance they've had this season, the way they've played, the style, but also, as I say, is that they're reliable enough to be there week in, week out, which is a huge thing for a football club.
Who would you pick?
Cal.
Yeah,
I'd always pick Cal.
He's just a standout, isn't he? He's absolutely the best midfielder in the last couple of seasons in Scotland.
Yeah, he just dominates games, and it shows you don't have to be big and strong. Cal's lean, he's got a wonderful left foot, but it's all about your positioning and your understanding. Your first touch is key, and he has got it all, and he's got that drive as well, and he literally lives and breathes football.
Can you see anybody stopping them getting the treble?
Hopefully not. Hopefully not. And I don't know, they've got Inverness in the final, but I think they'll be ultimate professional and switched on. They'll be lively as well, and they'll go obviously to Hampden and want to win that, and it'll be a fantastic day, hopefully.
You've won a few trebles. They've got a chance to.
I keep telling Baz that.
Yeah, I know. You must be annoying the life out of them.
I'm not sure why he's still here.
If I was Stephen Whitaker, I wouldn't get into a car with you. But if you're looking at it, you won the treble. You won it at Tynecastle. They're on the verge of at least putting the second part of the jigsaw in place by getting over the line, winning the title at Tynecastle on Sunday.
Yeah, won at Tynecastle before, and it's a fantastic stadium. It's a fantastic ground as well, and to go and win the treble. I don't know how many fans they're letting in.
1,200.
They're letting 1,200 in, but it'll be exciting for them. They'll go there, and obviously they're going to be full of confidence. But if they don't win it at Tynecastle, they could always win it at Ibrox.
Yeah, absolutely. Which
with no fans.
With no fans, it would be. I have to say, Cal will be professional about it, but it's the one thing that you would have loved: no fans to go and win the title at Ibrox. That's right up your street, isn't it?
That would have been lovely, and I think that's probably the only thing that I really missed. And see these big games and playing in them, I really do miss that part of it. But this is the next best thing for me, and I knew what I wanted to do. So yeah, it's one of those things. My time's been, now it's somebody else's turn, and you've got to appreciate what they're doing.
Do you get a feeling though, you've been involved domestically with Celtic, and there's always that urge to do something in Europe? Do you get that feeling that that's where everybody talks about Ange and how he's going to attract attention everywhere else, but do you get the feeling that he wants to try and take Celtic on to an area where they haven't been before in Europe?
Yeah, I think so. And I think he wants to go Champions League. He wants to get them into the last 16, and it'd be fantastic for them going through. And they played Real Madrid this season, and the way they played, especially at home, was exceptional. They went toe to toe with Real Madrid, and they were unlucky at home. So you have to have that understanding of, yeah, they can do that, but it's maybe a couple more players. I see Ange in the paper saying he wants to bring in a couple more, and that would just be strengthening the squad, and as I say, it's competition for places.
I know you're coming back up to Glasgow.
With yourself?
Yeah, I couldn't think of a better time to come back. The two of us together again.
We're back.
Do you get up as often as you would like?
No, I don't. No, and see, being down here, it's only 3 hours away, and it's hard not seeing the kids day to day, which I've been used to. But it's that also getting your foot in the ladder as well, and it's hard to get into a football club, and when you do, you have to make sure that you take as much responsibility as you can. You're here as much as you possibly can too, and to get back up the road, I do get up now and then, but it's not as much as I'd like to.
How painful was it for you not to be able to get that proper goodbye in front of the Celtic fans?
Yeah, I think my whole career had been unbelievable to myself and to all the lads that played, and they always had my back, and then there's been a lot of them coming down here, and a lot of staff coming down here as well, and they're like, oh, we've not seen you since before COVID, and we didn't have that chance to say bye, so they've came down to say bye, and I think it's just small details, and the appreciation for myself and Lusto to say thanks very much for everything they've done for us and with us, and all the celebrations and all the good times and the bad times as well that we've had, and we've all came together, and it was just sad that we didn't get time to say that.
Will it be an emotional time for you?
Yeah, I'm not a huge emotional person, but yeah, probably as close as it gets. And it was sad leaving, but I knew one way or the other I was going to leave that season, and I knew I was going to Aberdeen. I knew I'd already sorted it, and Stephen was coming in. So for myself, once I make my mind up on something, I'm done and dusted. I'm a little bit stubborn that way, but the same thing is I do miss going up, and I've not been back to a game and they keep asking me back to a game, but it's hard to go back when you're not playing and just watching the games and stuff. It's not like I'm going to sign any players for Celtic at this moment in time, so I can't use it as a scouting mission.
You mentioned that you're not emotional. Just before we finish, will there be a moment, or has there been a moment, when Scott Brown has gone into a room and looked at all the achievements from your Celtic days, or is that for later on because you're driven on by what you're trying to do now?
I'm not a huge one to look back in history, and I think, yeah, I've done that. That was my football side. That was me as a footballer. And now, my drive now, my focus is Fleetwood, and it has to be. And I can't always be one of those guys that, I used to play for Celtic, and I was a captain of Celtic, and I was a captain of Scotland. Yeah, well done, Scott. That was 15 years ago. That was 10 years ago. You've done your part. Now, off you pop. Somebody else is coming in that's younger, that's fitter, that's stronger, and you're always going to have that. And there's a lot of people that stick around football clubs, and I used to do this, and they know better than, and I don't really want to be that one that goes around and hangs about, and kids and I'm still mates with the first team lads, when I probably only speak to 3 or 4 of them.
Yeah. The others want you to phone, by the way, if you get a minute.
I'm no great with Japanese, I swear. My lingo's not so good.
Yeah, I think you'd still get the best out of them. What's the best bit, before we finish, what's the best bit of advice you've had from some of those managers as you embark on what you hope will be a successful managerial career?
I think Brendan gave me the best bit of advice. He says, on a Friday, tell everybody and make sure that nobody comes to your room to talk about why they're not in the starting lineup. Because people's very, very emotional when they don't get told that you're not playing. And it's a hard thing, especially the first couple of games, to say you're not in the squad, mate, and you're down there. Because to start with, we had a strong squad. We had 22 people, so I had to patch 3 or 4 people. And
yeah.
Never done that before. I've never been in that situation to go and say to somebody, look, you're not going to be in the squad. But
were you nervous?
Can you go and do running? I was a little bit nervous, but at the same time, I knew why I was wanting to do it, and I knew why they weren't in the squad. So there was always going to be reasons, but that was based on what I've seen through the whole entire pre-season and what we wanted to go. So doing that side, and I think that would probably be the best bit of advice. And don't let them come up right away afterwards, because people are very, very emotional at the time. And if you have the weekend to overthink, then they come back up, and it's not as emotional, and there'll be an understanding of you've either won the game or you've lost the game, and you're like, Gaffer, get me back in now.
Yeah.
You're maybe right, mate. So it's just having an understanding as well. But you don't want to kill the lads off and tell them why they're not playing. You need to make sure that you encourage them as well, because they work so hard all week, and it's built up to a game on the Saturday, and if you're not in it, it's like, I'm just a training player. And you don't want that. You want competition, and you're always going to get that, and you're going to get injuries, and people are going to get a chance. And that's why I never hold a grudge.
And you still get that drive to win.
Yeah, I still got a drive to win. I enjoy coming in the morning. I get a buzz coming in, knowing that we're going to train on good pitches. Yeah, the weather might be crazy at times here because we're right by the sea, but the lad, no matter what happens, when it's rain, snow, sleet, the lads give 110%. And for me, that's what they must do, to come in, to work hard, to want to better yourself. But they come in with a smile on their face, and they want to do it. So that puts a smile on my face, and that makes my job a lot easier.
Yeah, well, Scott Brown, I hope you have a long, happy and successful managerial career. Thank you.
Peter.
Top man.
Take care.